Hello everybody. Today I'm doing a bit of a lengthy illustration. It's actually going to be one of my portfolio pieces, which I'm going to get more into in a second. I'm really trying to build a portfolio because I'm realizing I don't have any pieces that really fit for a portfolio. Nothing finished, nothing with good composition. I have a lot of practice art, or I have a lot of fan art, which doesn't work. I draw a lot of known characters, or I draw a lot of known pictures, photographs and things, or use references that would not be allowed in qualifying for an art school or something. And I'm still not 100% sure what I'm doing with my art career, but I do know I'm going to need a portfolio, and I need it to be not gallery like professionalism, but it has to be recognizable over a lot of platforms, so I can choose to do what I want with it. This piece, as you can see in the title, is called Anticipation, and once I get a little bit more of my line work down, you're gonna see why. My little backstory for her is that she's like 16. She finds bees really cool. I had a teacher too that loved bees. Like, really loved bees. Like, she had a bunch of bee shirts and she owned a bee farm. Like, she was really into bees. But yeah, anyway, this kid, sidetracking already hard. But this kid is really, really into bees. And, she didn't realize she was so close to a hive. And then all of a sudden, piece of a honeycomb kind of slides off, which probably doesn't happen. Like, I'm guessing beehives don't really work like this, at least the ones I've seen. So I kind of made up my own little concept about how beehives work. Doesn't matter, most people don't know, I figure. And so a little bit of honey dripped on her face, and now she's just waiting for a reaction from the bees. To me, it was kind of a metaphor of just because you think something's beautiful doesn't mean it can't be fearful. Really, that's what I should have just said instead of all of that. I had a lot of issues with shading skin. Like, normal shading skin's very annoying. Like, I love it because you can see the picture come to life as you're going, but colored pencils are like a hate-love relationship for me because I love to grind out the color and see the result. I'm very into knowing where everything is on the page and then adding on to it and building up my detail, which means I can't grind down the wax or I won't have any tooth of the paper left to apply more wax on, but I do anyway. And then I try to grind more over top and then it gets streaky, and quite honestly, in person, I'm quite disappointed with this image because it's really streaky and I hate it. So I've done it before where it's not streaky, and I've been patient, but right now I just feel like creating, going, moving, not really taking my time the right way. Like, I still took my time on this. This is a 20-hour-ish piece, which is a lot for me. Also because of the pose, she's looking up. I'm really not good at that stuff, and I'm not allowed. Well, for most art schools, if you apply to them, which is what I'm thinking of doing, you're not allowed to use references that aren't your own for the most part. I know that it's different depending on what school you might apply for. But I just wanted something where I was safe, so I found a reference and I went off of it very loosely for this. I just wanted to get the understanding of how the head would look pointing up and where the highlights and shadows are. I even changed the skin tone of the person and everything else. My favorite part of the picture might be her hair, which is really funny because it's the only thing that had like no reference whatsoever. I just did it off the top of my head. So good for me. I'm good at braids, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. Looking at it now, like, as I'm recording this audio and I'm watching it play, I'm really happy with it, generally. It's a good piece of art. I made a lot of mistakes and I learned a lot making it, so there's really no loss in this artwork at all. It is a longer video because it was so much time put into it and a lot of clips, a lot of annoying editing. What else can I say about this? Oh yes, it's called Anticipation, and my portfolio, my plan for it is to base pieces off of emotions. There was a psychologist, I believe his name was Robert something, I could be wrong, and he had a list of the core emotions that every person feels. And I thought it would be really interesting to illustrate to people that I can provoke an emotion through an image. I think that's what art's for, right? You're trying to tell something, say something, or it's aesthetically pleasing. So I wanted to prove that hopefully, I'm more than just someone who can recreate what's in front of me. I want to be able to take my art in my own direction and utilize it to make the world a better place. I'd love to do public art and stuff in the future. Like, that's my long-term goal, to make people feel something or to make someone think. Yeah. I really like the skin tonage. When I look at it here, I add a bunch of brown pastel over top because I don't think my shadows are deep enough. And this is wrong for two reasons. One, because my shadows are deep enough. In fact, they could arguably be too deep, and I should lay off. Like, she looks a little skinny, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It just wasn't my intended look. Yeah, I think you can measure how good an artist is based off of how close they get to what they intended to create. It's control of your own materials, right? I have poor control in this one. Yeah, so the brown is wrong because A, it's too dark, and B, it's the wrong shade. There should be no deep, cold brown, which is what I end up putting in. If anything, I should have used like a warm reddish brown if I was going to use brown, or purple. And I didn't. I end up erasing a lot of it. That's the nice thing about pastels. Very erasable. I also use a skin kind of beige, very basic peachy color pastel, pan pastel, to try and even out my skin tone, which doesn't really matter because I don't think you can really see it here. Yeah, there I am going in. You can't really see the smudginess as much, I don't think. I won't be able to tell till I finish rendering the video, but yeah, I think I avoided picking up most of it on camera, so that's nice. I apologize for the lighting. I'm trying to come up with a better way to light up my photo. I have a really bright, really decent lamp. It's very yellow light oriented, very warm light. Yeah, it works really well for drawing. I've used it my whole life. And now I'm going to have to try and find something else because it's not really good for picking up the saturation of the colors. I think the next videos you're going to see from me are probably going to be either more portfolio pieces or just practice works. I'm going to try and do more figure practice, as boring as that is, so I'll probably compile that into one video and kind of make a tutorial out of it. I think I've been learning a lot lately. There's so many things I didn't know. It kind of angers me. There's so many things I don't know. And it's one of those things where there's no one to ask. There's nobody who's like, oh yeah, I do art YouTube in your community. Please contact me. Even artists, like, I have Googled so many things, and I find artists that are working in a work at a gallery level, at a prestigious kind of posh. You know, the artwork where it's like, I don't quite see the value, but I'm sure somebody does. It's more or less that, and that's not what I want to make. There's nothing wrong with abstract or more textural designs and stuff. Nothing wrong whatsoever, or more simplified art. In fact, hanging-wise, I'd rather have that in my home than a portrait of somebody, unless it's like my husband or something, I don't know. Yeah, I personally, for aesthetic appearance, I like basic art to be furnished in my house. As a creator, though, I'm against it, so I'm not against it, sorry. I'm just, it's not my style. I personally don't find it as interesting or compelling to look at. Yeah, so I apologize if I'm making some huge errors right now. I'm gonna work on bringing up my brightness quality and just producing like a lot of art. I can't stop drawing. It's getting crazy for me. I'm drawing into the night, first thing in the morning, editing, doing business work, things that I normally would hate doing. I just feel compelled to do right now. So to me, I'm taking it as a good sign, and hopefully something comes out of it. It'd be nice. The honey I'm drawing here, oh, am I out of frame for most of this? I really, really like it. I think it looks sticky, it looks thick, which is what I was going for. It makes you feel kind of uncomfortable for her, hopefully a little bit. Pro tip, by the way, I'm not a serial killer. That giant steak knife there, I was using it to flick away the wax for hair strands that you can kind of tell there. I might have also used it for other details, but I go back in with the gel pen where I can get even whiter on the page. The bee's nest, there's a bee's nest above her. You will see that in a moment. I kind of pan over there. I don't think it feels really complete. I want to go back and add more shadows to the beehive and make it a little more realistic. I got kind of lazy towards the end, and I got a little angry. I should have walked away and picked it up later. Yeah, I messed up the bees pretty bad. I'm not impressed with my bees. I've drawn way better bees. Like I said, I was done with the piece kind of when I was getting there, which isn't good. It's not a good attitude. And I probably will go back and alter the hive and the little guys all over it. I kind of wish I put more bees. I wanted that creepy crawly feel to kind of transfer over to whoever's looking at it. The feeling of like, oh man, that wouldn't be fun to be in that swarm. But I ended up drawing like 5, which is okay. I still think the nest looks really full, and I'm really uncomfortable looking at it because it's a bunch of holes. There's a name for that, like a syndrome or fear or phobia of holes, and I have it. I think most people do. There's something uncomfortable about little holes with depth to them, because it makes you wonder why are they there? Usually creepy crawly things come out of many little holes, right? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. This video is coming to an end, and I think the honey at the end there really kind of brings it to life. I appreciate you watching. I'm really proud of this picture, and it is going to be my first portfolio piece. If you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. I love hearing from other people. Thank you for watching. I'll see you probably really soon.